The ninth movie in this setup is Bojack Unbound. Now, Bojack Unbound is set very shortly after the Cell games, sometime between that 7-year period before the Majin Buu saga starts officially. There is a tournament being thrown by this very rich couple for their son's birthday. They even hire fake intergalactic warriors to kind of add an extraterrestrial spectacle to it. Mr. Satan is there as like the exhibitionist match at the end, so on and so forth. Essentially, every single Z fighter that can fight is there. And if not, they're in the attendance. So you see Yamcha, you see Tien, you see Krillin, you see Piccolo. They have like this whole battle royale fight on this very like.
Oh yeah, and Trunks comes back after killing the Andros because I want to say one final goodbye.
Yeah, which was fine because he does say that in the story. Like after he kills Cell, he's like, I plan to go back to tell them that I won. Right. So I'm like, all of these things are kind of lining up. Trunks' design is like peak 90s at that point with the jean jacket cut off and the long emo hair. Peak 90s. Linkin Park, AMV, cue the music right there. It all in the end cues up as soon as you see him, show up. But it's very colorful locations. Of course, the Z Fighters make it to the finals, along with some other human characters, right? A sumo wrestler and so on and so forth. Come to find out, Bojack is free from a star that he was being contained in. Once King Kai died in the Cell fight, it released him and his crew. They show up, kill the intergalactic warriors, start going after the finalists because they realize that Earth is a threat and they want to take out the fighters on Earth, plus use it as Bojack's kingdom. They all get into a skirmish. Everyone respectfully loses. Gohan ultimately goes Super Saiyan 2 and finishes off Bojack and crew. Now, I'm just going to let you guys go first, but I will say that this is personally my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie. Maybe not for the reasons you might think, but this is my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie out of the original 13. But what do you guys think about the plot?
I gave it a 7. I did enjoy seeing some of the old Z fighters back in the fold again. There was a match where it was Tien versus Trunks,
Beautiful,
and the fact that Tien didn't get knocked out within 30 seconds, I was very happy. I was very happy to see that. I mean, and it kind of just reminds you, bro, like these people are competent, but it's just the writing just kind of failed them, and they were just abandoned. It was good to see Krillin again, not as just this punching bag all the time until a certain point. But
he did what he could.
And it was really the first movie that, they kind of reneged to a certain point where it was the first movie without Goku, in a sense. He's dead, from the finale of what happened with Cell. I did like the whole factor, Hercule still trying to play this hoax that, I took out Cell, and then he's getting all this sponsorship left and right, and then he keeps coming across, it's that kid, is he gonna blow my bubble? What am I supposed to do? And it's just that you start to feel like this is like the section of Dragon Ball Z, like you can feel the stakes, but it's also had that comedy elements to it. So I gave it a 7. I do like the villains. I did like the fact that they're space pirates. The Kais actually sealed them away, so that goes to show you these people are actually a threat. Like the fact that y'all got sealed away, and that's how it is, bro. Especially after characters like Aizen, they didn't kill them, they sealed them.
Yeah,
so that means to show you that they are very formidable people. And then even like how you mentioned this in the group chat, they come from a planet called Hera, and that's the race of their aliens. They're Hera. So I mean, once again, opens up more lore, but never. Whatever.
Why elaborate, right?
Yeah.
Elaborate?
And their super forms are very straightforward. It makes more sense than Super 13.
Yeah, it's almost like their version of Super Saiyan. It feels like.
When you really look at it, and it was very straightforward, and it's like, bro, you can't be mad at it because it's like, what can you really do?
Yeah. Their muscles get bigger, their hair changes color. I'm like, tracks.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And then especially if you've been keeping up with the super manga, you already know who these people are.
Yes. Well, We'll see if that ever gets elaborated, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows these days? It's like it's right there by the rim, but you know Dragon Ball Z. We'll just wreck on it again.
Of course. So I gave it a 7.
Okay. S rank. What are we thinking about BoJack Unbound plot wise?
Bojack Unbound's cool. It's 7.5 for
Okay.
me. Um, one of the things that maybe um I'll give it an 8. It's a higher score. I'll give it an 8. Because I like the scenery. I like the different locations. I kind of wish they spent more time showing the tournament scene. Um,
Okay.
I liked that it was like different game like different the tournament the entire festival was like just a collection of different things going on, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Different arenas.
Mm-hmm.
Different arenas, different places, locations of battle. Uh, Bojack showing up. There was a couple of things that was like, because I wind up seeing that movie a lot later when my brain was more developed, right? Something like Broly would have been Oscar nominated had you asked me a couple of years ago, a younger me.
Mm-hmm.
But for Bojack, Bojack was a dope villain. At first, I wasn't really sold up on the design because it's like to me, space pirate. I'm like, huh? Sell it to me. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
show him ship. They didn't show, he just showed up and started beating up people. So it was just like, he didn't say what he wanted. Uh, I think Master Roshi or the Kai's, that's Bojack. Bojack came from a planet that was sealed and na 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 and
Well, one of
nah.
his henchmen does like elaborate that like what they want to do ultimately. They
Yeah.
do clarify at some point like what they're looking to do on Earth. So, but you're
Okay.
right. He doesn't say it. One of his
Bojack doesn't
henchmen kind of
even
mentioned.
talk. Bojack just smirks it. You feel me? So it's like okay, Bojack, your character design is great. It's telling me that you're a schemer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you're not saying any more than that. And then after that, there was one part where he just there's that scene I'll be sending you all the time. To me, it's the same thing like that meme where the shoulder rest on the hands resting on your shoulder. You know what I mean? I'm talking about. But it's
Yeah.
when BoJack went behind homegirl and just killed her. I was just like, what's the point of this? A
So
lot
I
of the
guess to
villains.
try to distract Gohan, maybe catch him off
So I
guard.
shoot. I'm gonna shoot this blast directly in front of him, like through her back,
That'll unnerve her. That'll get him.
and just man, that part was ridiculous to me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did like the villains. They had different powers. I think they
Yeah.
were like very good at drain. They could drain your
Yeah.
energy.
Drain your key. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that kind of like they felt foreign. They felt like aliens, but they felt like a different type of alien. They felt like a Middle Eastern fusion of or displayed that within their planet there's different cultures that exist and they're all a part of Bojack's team. So I
It's
thought that
funny you
was
say that
dope.
because in the English dub, they give them a Caribbean accent that you can kind of hear with some of them.
So they're space Jamaicans.
They're from the West Indies of space.
Space
That's why I said the English
Bahamians,
dub. You got to take when you're like, oh, they made 13 a redneck. I'm like, no,
Space
Funimation made 13 a
Grenadians,
redneck.
Space Grenadians. That's crazy. Okay.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so plot wise,
The plot was decent, man. It was decent. Gohan got his time to shine. This is when Toei. So my thing is another thing that gets me so frustrated. Y'all come up with this genius plot only to abandon it. So Goku's dead in the movie, but it's not canon,
it
right?
it it is probably one of the most canon movies
Yeah.
out of the bunch.
But it's not. Then it's nothing.
Because the
So
only the only continuity error would have been Trunks' hair. Because if he goes back right after the way he said he would. He had his hair cut short and
Yeah.
his hair is long. That's really everything else. Goku's dead. This is during the 7 years before the Majin Buu saga. There's no like, if Goku was alive, it would have been like a plot hole. Like everything kind of lines up in terms of it's clearly post Cell.
I actually loved how they did Vegeta's character. Vegeta didn't even care about fighting anymore, bro.
Yeah, because Goku was dead. What's the
And
point?
I felt it. I felt it. I was like, dang. And he's grieving in a way that he doesn't want to acknowledge that he's grieving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really, because to me, it wasn't, you don't really want to kill Goku anymore. You just say that because you want people to remember who,
motivation.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need motivation. So it was just like, man, Vegeta's grieving, dog. He turned off the television. And I was just like, yo. But as far as like Gohan turning Super Saiyan, Gohan getting his time to shine, that was it, man. After that, Gohan provided no value whatsoever after that ever again. And so I leave that all to say.
He went from wearing the 23 jersey to wearing the 4-5. He was joining on the Wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like I said, this is my favorite DBZ movie. I love, to what you guys said, I love the
second best cast of villains in a movie. Second greatest cast of villains in a film. Third, second greatest. They're better. They're more interesting than Coolest guys. Sadly.
I like their designs a lot. Like when I rewatch them, like I really love their henchman designs. They're very unique. Like, when's the last time you saw a villain with a goatee? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like a lot of like really like this is, I don't know what it is, but it's working.
It was new. It was fresh.
Yeah, I wish they spoke more, but it
was fresh,
design wise.
It was a fresh movie. Yeah.
So for me, like I love the locales. I love the battle royale format. Like I love the like Tim said, the re-inclusion of like everybody. Tien's there, Yamcha's there. The fact that you have this like running joke of like, to me, that still respects the characters of like Krillin's freaking out about fighting Piccolo because of course you would, right? And then he's also like relieved when it's like, oh, it's just a race to the finish. You don't actually have to fight Gohan or anybody else. You know, so I'm like, there's certain things where I'm like, it sets itself up in a way where it doesn't sacrifice what makes these characters cool. Like, you didn't expect to see Trunks versus Tien, and it'd be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just like, oh man, this Tien should have just flip out the ring, but he doesn't. He's like, no, because we know how Tien is. Tien's the same person who's like, I'm gonna fight Cell. Y'all should run for it. Like, that's in his character. And Trunks is a respectful dude. It's like, all right, we know what time it is, but I'll fight you. I'll take you seriously, if even for us. So like, there's a lot of character nuances where it just feels like every character to me is written very, very well. Come on now, Teen Gohan and the Goku Gi. What are we talking about right now? You know, like we didn't. Who knew we needed this? Who knew we needed this, yo? Like,
so you unlocked that character in Sparking Zero?
Oh, it's not yet.
Not yet, right?
Right.
Boy, that bundle pack gonna be something.
It's about to be crazy, yeah. But I love the design, love the locale, love the usage of the characters. The fact that even though, they kind of get one-shotted, I just like that Tien and Yamcha are there, bro. Like, I like that they show up. You know, like I like the whole involvement. Really, the only thing which I had alluded to when we were talking about or leading up to this on previous pods is I don't think Bojack's very interesting. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. He's not boring, right? I love their designs. Like Tim said, like I like the whole space pirate design. I think the henchmen and everything's designed very well. It's like he talks, but he doesn't. So it's like, I know what he is. I know his motivation. He doesn't have a personality, really. So like, even when he pushes Zangief in front of the blast, I'm like, are you doing this to scare Gohan? Are you afraid? And you're literally like, let me run and push someone else in front of him so I can get away. Like, I don't really know what's happening.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
not
you could
consistent,
tell.
man.
You could
Yeah.
tell during this period of characters. I would say everybody after like Cooler. I would say actually no. After 13, I would say you could tell that they started to introduce villains, like the main villains that they just didn't really know what to do with in
Mm-hmm.
terms of personality. They were just there for energy blasts
Yeah.
and color palettes.
Right. We need someone to
And
fight.
that was the trend. Like you
Mm.
started to really see less dialogue. Even though there's lore there to support them, it's like they don't support it.
Yeah. Because
And
again,
it's like,
it's an interesting premise to your point, Tim. It's like the Kais had to steal these guys away. Like, what were they? Like, can we get a flashback of them rampaging through the 4 galaxies? Like just anything?
Yeah,
yeah,
they could have gave us a flashback like Optimus Prime did when he was this is Megatron and you see Megatron doing
Yeah, right. It was just an
you feel-
exposition dump. Like, oh, here's this guy. Here's what they did. And it's just like, I mean,
yeah.
I guess.
trapped
And
in
I
a
also didn't like
star.
the fact that the Z fighters they all got taken out very quickly, bro. Even Vegeta. So I was like, whoa. I was like,
So you know what's crazy, right? I didn't like that as a kid. Because again, this is one of the top 5 Vegeta entrances. Top 5, right? Trunks is being
yeah,
held by ropes. The sword comes out of nowhere, cuts him free. Trunks catches his sword. Vegeta blows up the roof that the villains are standing on, flies up right past them. I'll fight Bojack alone. You stay back. I'm like, this. He don't get no
Yeah,
better.
it was
He just keeps.
it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard.
he
It was
he
hard.
just won't stop being dope.
It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. But
yeah.
we
It
had
was
to
a
shout
great
out Piccolo though.
entrance,
Piccolo did one
but
for Broly
No,
too,
no, no,
though.
no, no. Piccolo, no, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Piccolo, yeah, no. Piccolo has some, but that was the thing. It was always like a one up
yeah.
of each other. Like who could have the rawest entrance, right? Because like even Piccolo's entrance, going about to get blasted by Bojack. You see the special beam cannon out of nowhere. Piccolo's posing on the tower with his cape flapping in the breeze. Oh, he's unconscious.
yeah.
Okay. But
And
I was
that's
gonna say
why,
with Vegeta, I didn't mind because to Jory's point earlier, he hasn't been fighting. He's rusty. So he can't keep up with Bojack because it's like, bro, you haven't fought since Goku died. You showed up there on like it's me, but your fighting skills are not where they need to be. That was the only because I mean it's one of those things where it's like to your point, Tim, like it does become the Goku and Gohan show almost uncomfortably so, especially in some of these movies. But I also kind of feel like it's budget and time of like if these movies can't be longer than an hour, how long can they fight him really?
yeah,
You kind of got to get to it. So that was the only thing because like to me, I'm like I feel like Piccolo probably would have been able to have at least killed one of these henchmen, but he goes straight for
yes,
Bojack for no reason. It's
yes.
like, bro, he's bodying you.
Like
Fall back.
the only person who killed a henchman
Was Trunks.
was Trunks, and then of course Gohan and Bojack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even
but
that, like again, looking up the lore before we started the episode, apparently the person that Trunks killed was second in command. I'm like, that would have been nice to know. And then if he kills the second in command, why is he struggling with the rest of them? He should be on Grim Reaper time if that's the case. Because they're not even transformed like the other buddy did. But
yeah,
power levels, right? What are they? What are they really? Right? What are power levels? And again with the plot, bro. I mean, come on now. I know nothing will ever really top Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 for the first time during the Cell games, but can we all admit this was a close second? Goku knocks him out of Bojack's arms, gets the quiet stand up. He doesn't even look at them. His back is to them. I'm my father's son. Yells, camera pans, the buildings collapse.
it was for aesthetic.
I loved it.
It was. I mean, it was cool. It was cool for especially at that age.
Yeah.
It was. But it just. But then, like how Jory said, bro. Like after that, he just becomes.
Yeah, well, no,
No, what? I
this was his
was
swan song, right? Like this is if you got to go out, you know what I'm saying? This is how you retire the jersey, at least for a movie. I love how that movie ends. I love it. Punches Bojack to the chest. Bojack's clearly scrambling. Throws the blast. The blast collide. They fly each other. Gohan punches him again, and he just disintegrates into the blast. And it's just what again? Like I don't know what else I could have asked for in terms of movie ending. I ultimately think, as we're about to go into how we think about the villain, I just don't think Bojack was interesting, and it really hurts
Yeah,
the movie. It hurts the movie. It's a
it
9 out of 10
does.
for me for like premise, ideas. Again, locale, Trunks fighting Buddy in that little river, and Gohan fighting, in the like construction center looking thing was super cool. Gohan doing like a 5-on-1. Come on now, like it's like there's so many different things that are like dope, but like as a villain, I'm just like, this is you could have put in anybody at this point. Like there's nothing. He has nothing that like resonates as a character for me.
And then
Like for me, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
they messed this story up twice with that reinversion in Super. They ruined it twice. The heaters,
Oh yeah,
they they ruined it twice, man. Um, BoJack just was. I didn't understand. I didn't know who he was, man. Because I was like, is he confident? Is he like a trickster? But his name was Fire. BoJack Unbound. What's gonna happen? But nothing much. Nothing much. It's flat soda.
yeah.
The flat soda.
He's
Them red
not
sodas
interesting.
after 30 minutes that you get from the dollar store.
That
The
Bubblicious
99
after
cent
30
store.
seconds.
Oh boy, yeah, boy.
Bubblicious chewing gum. There's nothing about him. There's again, the design is cool. I'm not even mad at his transformation, but I go back to this movie and I'm like, and I feel I don't
I
hate
ain't like the
him.
transformations.
It was
I,
fine.
bro, highlighters. Y'all just turn the highlighters now, and y'all.
What is Super Saiyan?
No, it's a highlighter, but it's like it's different. Well, with that, it's connected to Wukong. But this one was just, and then I'm like, yo, your facial structure is not different from 13, so it's like it kind of just doesn't. It doesn't sell me because it's like all I see is 13 again.
Mm.
Honestly, because his facial structure is just like his hair. Versus, he got a hat versus a hat. He got a beanie on, a
Yeah.
bandana, and it's
I
just
can't defend
like
it.
it's just like
Yeah.
yo. That's and then when you turn super, y'all look identical. If we play right now, and I put side to side, I'm like, yo, they brothers. If y'all pick any other color scheme for 13, Super 13, and BoJack, you'll be like, oh, yo, these look like the same people.
Mm.
So that's where I stand with BoJack. But
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, man.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't think this was, to me, like this was the last time out of the original 13 that we got a movie like this, where like you're not wondering, oh, where's so and so? They're all there. Chao Su's even there in the audience, right? So it's like every character is involved. But Tim, what do you think about BoJack as a villain?
He was, like I said, he wasn't interesting. He was not interesting whatsoever. I do kind of felt like the movie. It did give
Excuse
me
me, man.
Tree of Might vibes at certain points. I
Mm,
would have loved to see the Z Fighters hold their own against the henchmen a bit more,
mm,
because
mm,
especially like you had Yamcha, you had Tien, you had
mm,
Trunks, you had Krillin. Like, so this is actually a very interesting bunch.
mm,
Like you have like a mixture of old and new to an extent, because you realize, bro, after this movie, bro, if you ain't have blonde hair and blue eyes, and
where were you?
sometimes in the Namekian,
And it's not even then.
it, it was like you were non-existent whatsoever. You was at Master Roshi's house watching the TV.
Straight human, dog. You
Praying
a
right next
hermit.
to Bulma, please. Come on,
You a
go.
hermit.
Straight human, bro. And and I, like I said, bro, I would have just loved for them to just hold their own just a little bit, bro. Because like, especially when
It's
you brought
fair.
back a tournament,
It's fair.
it's like, and that's where
It's the
I said, bro, the
roots.
Dragon Ball, that's where they shine the most, bro. The tournaments, man. That's where
Hmm.
Tien and Yamcha brought out them techniques that you didn't like, bro. When did you even have time to develop this?
Hmm. Hmm.
But nope. We were living in the age of just energy blasts and pallets, and that's exactly what you got.
But I think also it has to do a lot too with like power levels being so inconsistent, right? Of like it's hard to know, like, okay, is it that these guys are that much stronger than them? Did they catch them off guard? Because you're telling me that Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien all get basically one-shotted, but then so does Trunks, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, where do they? I don't understand who scales where. Like, is it like, are they Cell Junior strong in comparison to like where? How strong are they? Like, where is Bojack? Is Bojack perfect Cell strong, weaker, a little bit stronger? It's just like you don't really know where to gauge it.
You barely know anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Russian roulette and just have a good time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I think that's a fair critique. Like I said, it's my favorite, but it's ironically the villain aspect of it is what takes it away from me a little bit. Like it's a 9 out of 10 for me because everything else, like I said, is there in terms of like what I wanted from a movie, the characters I wanted involved, the designs, but just the villain. Like you need the villain to be good, right? It's like like a Hollywood movie. Like if the villain isn't good, if his motivations don't make sense, you're like, I don't want to see the Iron Man highlight show, right? If his villain does not, isn't important. So like I that was always my critique with that movie. Like I just don't care about Bojack.